good lane matchups, turn it into towers, turn it into strategic pickoffs, but maybe end up avoiding the big 5-on-5 fights unless they have an overwhelming advantage. And so that could be something to look forward to for LFY, like a potential chance to turn this game around down the road if they can kind of hold the gates right now.
See Flash here, they were attempting to move on to Super in the bottom lane, but they run into Company nearby and they're going to get hit with the coil. A call down is also traded. They quickly blast apart Ahmed. They'll follow it up with a Yao takedown, and Super picks up both of them. The initial gank target is able to sweep in and clean up, and now he's at closer to level 7 and feels a bit more fresh.
LFY are just making better moves, better decisions right now, and I think they're at a huge drafting deficit. They had a huge laning deficit as well because of the draft, but they're remaining close and competitive just because they're making better smokes, better moves with the puck, they're reacting better, and LGD are just not really connecting well because of the draft rotations. They're remaining close and competitive around the brood because they're making better smokes, better moves with the puck. Our own devices. You don't need to send these ganks her way. Go and try and focus, find the drow in the jungle. Go and try and kill that Visage who went to the offlane. Like they don't need to be heading and helping Brood. Brood is meant to be a self-sufficient hero.
Looks like our Brood is going Midas as well. I don't know if that was acknowledged yet. So playing it greedier, prepping for a longer game. How do you think that? I haven't seen a Brood in so long, so it's hard for me to gauge whether or not you think this is the appropriate choice or not, given the game.
Yeah, I've seen maybe a couple Broods here and there throughout like the TI qualifiers.
Catch the back end of that. It's Victoria getting rolled over from Inflame. He is just cutting loose on this one. Yep. Evens it back up 7-7.
The Brood builds I've seen have been more the Orchid without the Midas. It seems a little screedy. There's a lot more fighting, early game focus, and that's where rushing an Orchid seems to be, from what I've seen, the preferred way of playing the hero. But even just from seeing 11's skill build, he actually prioritized leveling that web over spawn spiderlings, playing a little bit less aggressively than what the other Broods I've seen. So I do feel like LG don't have the same idea of how to play this Brood as some of the other teams. Whether that's for better or worse, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he'll plague his way through the jungle though. He farms through the bottom lane.
Here.
Yeah, they have a sentry right on top of his head. So okay, they got him. Coil set down, and it will let Inflame pick it up there. I'm not sure if they were hoping for Super to get the last hit on that one, but whatever the case may be, LFY continue to string together more kills and claw themselves back through what is a bit difficult laning setup and difficult drafts.
Yeah, that was a danger going from early to mid game. The more you can shrink the space of LFY, the harder.
Waktu penggunaan paket Anda tersisa 10 menit.
Queen of Pain and the puck has a very good toolkit for dealing with the Queen of Pain and the Broodmother, especially like if he is going, say for that, let's say after the Midas, most likely an Echo Saber. I'm not sure if he'll end up going Orchid this game, or the Crest rather, that we see quite often.
Maybe has spotted Super farming nearby, has a Sonic Wave and everything. He needs to effectively blast this thing down. There he is. And he'll take the green.
That's done. So high ground. TP. Oh, flips high ground. TP or not. If he wants to, may actually just stay up here and wait for a backup exit. Getting a lot of good info and intel. He's perhaps calling his Brood in, like, hey, we got some kills up here.
And the rest of LFY have migrated their way up through that mid lane period. But back and below, we see the Shaker getting taken down. They will grab that tower. Here comes Ame, though, rolling an axe. Drops the call down here. They look to go for the deny, but can't quite get it.
Okay, familiars either is EDC. Charged by the Brood.
Oh, but they just turn around and dust him and finish him off. A Sonic Wave rolling from Victoria. And they just strike right back. And look at this. They drop the wards and they'll turn into an objective +1.
Yeah, Super's here, but with the wards down, he doesn't really have much chance to defend this one. Can't go in and right-click them with 4 heroes there.
Easy work of that time.
Again, this the big kind of result of the Drow being laneless and having no impact on the early game is that she's been unable to have any presence on this game. Just jungling or providing utility hero almost. We'll start to come online with a few items and a bit of farm, but for now it really is all on the puck Visage to keep LFY in this game and to find those kills, which they've done a great job of. Not for this puck and visage, this game would be looking a lot more one-sided.
So if we saw the Brood already commit for the Midas, do you anticipate that the rest of LGD are going to take things at a bit of a slower tempo, feeling comfortable and confident with their draft, and playing the economy game, pushing it into the later portions of the match?
I think so, because I don't think they have really a window to end the game now, or to say end it very quickly in the next. Yao is going to buy a top, and then the gyro, like the space that they are getting from this is a positive for them, obviously, so it's going to allow the gyro to farm up relatively comfortably in the jungle without too much fear of retribution. That master gives a favor on just about every safe lane hero that he plays. And so Super's going to go down the game, and not too much pressure on him. They're okay with letting him get free reign over the map and get farmed as well. And they can kind of farm the way out of that condition we're talking about. The cores are a bit soft. Once you start to get up these PQBs, once maybe has more hit to threaten the puck, it starts to become a bit of an easier game for them to take. And that's how they capitalize on the early space from the lane matchup. It's not a lane matchup to directly win the game. It's a lane matchup to set up what happens later.
Yeah, just looking at that land-based draft does not really push high ground all that well. Gyrocopter isn't a hero that wants to go high ground until he has 3, 4, 5 big items. Brood, while he can kind of take those outer towers very early on in his off lane, doesn't typically go for the high ground unless he's kind of in a split push scenario where your team's fighting and you're going high ground against 0 heroes. So I think they recognize this game is going to likely go into the late game. They've got plenty of tools to not have to worry about a Drow Ranger. I mean, Drow's kind of talked about as being that mid-game push strat where you're on a timer, you don't want to go late game. Not to say that's entirely the case here. I think with the Bristle and the Puck, there is some ability to scale late game for LFY, but they need to have some map control so they can get that far. They've kind of lost control of that Radiant jungle. They've just kind of barely keeping themselves in it by pushing some of these other towers and taking some control of the top side of the map.
And to piggyback off that point, because of the contortions that the Brood gives you in that pick spot, usually the Drow allows you to reach the mid game with an advantage, because if you're running, say, 2 other ranged laners, you end up with a solid start out of lanes, you end up being able to push towers out, and that leads to the mid game edge that you can finish the game with. In that case, because of the contortions and laning that they've had, the Drow, one of the Drow's greatest functions as an enabler of that lineup has just been entirely nullified, and then becomes a situation where you're more about what the Drow does own merits, which is not as much, not as strong as lively as most of the
Ooh, possible fate turnaround here on the top lane. Inflame thinking he's gonna get another swift jump onto Yao. It was Victoria waiting behind.
Sick bait, anticipating that move.
Sick
nice
bait, mate. 8 out of 8. On the note of the Broodmother, it does look like he is going to be moving forward with that Solar Crest. Put that together with your incapacitating bite, and you're never going to hit the thing. Unless you got that KB or something.
This right-click Brood build scales very well. The introduction of talents gave Brood a 70 attack speed level 20 talent. This is one of the most insane attack speed talents in existence. I think only like Bristle has an attack speed talent, which is yeah, if he gets 50 at level 20, you're talking a 70 attack speed talent on an agi right-clicking hero that has an ultimate that gives you 140 damage and lifesteal. That's like the dream scenario for a carry Brood, to right-click people down with this talent. Level 25, you get the extra webs. You kind of always want to have that mobility in your webs as a right-clicking carry, so this hero is actually a much better late-game scaler than he used to be. Brood always kind of had this story around him where you win the lane but lose the game because you become this big kind of money, walking money bag, that once you get killed once or twice, you've given away all that advantage, but Brood scales a lot better than he used.
Here's LFY doing a little bit of a Ocean's 11 as they try to rob the Roche from LGD, but LGD are pinging it. Can they get there? Uh-oh. LFY, the body language is saying, we're a bit nervous about finishing this. They are going to be able to catch out the Brood, though. They move a bit, hit him with the dust. Now the dunk on the other side of the hill is going to be just a defensive play from the Earthshaker. He does have to buy back to return to the fight here. Moving into action is going to be Victoria, hit with the Soul Suction. Ward's committed out from Yao, able to lock down. The Roach is finished. Ame is going to be able to snag up the Aegis and take it back and away. Both him and Maybe back off a bit, while on the other side we are going to be seeing Yao ripped apart from DDC. The Drow using the high ground. That's a bit of leverage here, but look at this. 11 is able to move and chomp on forward with the help of maybe in that Orchid. They finish off the flame. We're not done yet. It's super. The weak pig and the cow, Afu. Both to be finished up next, it would look like here. But Ame is taking a lot of damage here as Monet does a bit of orb walking, running down and out. But a full flak cannon is able to unload onto the Drow Ranger. That's going to cost the Aegis. They want okay, though.
1 stone left. Victoria, can he land the kick?
No. But the rocket's coming. I think they'll finally let her go.
That kick to land. Woo! Still a good fight for LGD. Secured Roche. Radiant team used buybacks and everything. The Earthshaker using his. And they definitely come out on top with all the extra kills they got post-Roche. Using just maybe Queen of Pain as far as big kills went. I think Yaba also died on the Shaman, but they found the guys.
Space created, though. Finally deal with their spider problem, and LGD will still walk away. I'm pretty confident about that fighting situation there. So, how much does that hurt Jack, LFY? They went into that with the intention they were going to get the Roche and kind of be able to still stay relevant and strong as we move ourselves forward into the mid game here. Now they don't got that, so what's next?
I don't think it's too big of a concern for them. Like, they still, taking with the cores, like, their 3 cores are still doing very well. They're getting a lot of farm, they're benefiting tremendously from the space that LFY does not really possess. They're feeling a little bit antsy, and they have to worry about being picked off and ganked. With this maybe Orchid up now, even the puck feels very unsafe. He went for that Veil first build, so he finally has his Blink Dagger. Yours is still a bit away, so he's got to be super careful about trying to lead his own ganks or counter initiation. So it's a pretty good spot for LGD. I mean, I think you have optimal map control. I think your gyrocopters in the position to just really explode into the mid-late game. Is right now. Of course, that's
Victoria, roll forward, boulder smash, magnetize, but the fissure. Nice little lifesaver there.
Bails him out. Those silences mentioned without a Yule Scepter, this puck is going to play very cautiously.
Still, though, you can tell by looking at that aesthetic
silences mentioned without a Yule Scepter, this puck is
section that this is feeling pretty dang good for LGD. Still Broodmother residing towards the bottom half. BKB is next on the docket here.
Yep. Right-click carry build. You want that magic immunity so you're not getting Fidget, Great Shield, Screenfold, etc.
Yeah, and with that BKB up and the Solar Crest, at some point, if the fight breaks out, team fight, she's just going to sit on top of the Drow with right-click on. And the Drow is not going to be able to stand her ground for very long. It's going to reduce the bonus, obviously, and it's going to nullify a lot of the Drow's combat capacity. There's not much you can do about it, really, once the BKB is up, so it'll be a pretty tough position for LFY when that time comes.
The Drow's going to be worried about a Brood getting in her face. It doesn't even end there. But looking at Earth Spirit, he's actually got to have a Blink Dagger as well, so some more gap closers. Drow's going to be worried about being able to get Brood, get a little fragile backliner here. But bottom lane, we're seeing a shift come out. LFY, maybe a call to action here, as there's an approach from LGD, but as I finish that statement, LGD are decent out. So, dodging things out for now. You know, sometimes they say that, you know, you have a Shadow Shaman on your team, you'd like to see them be very proactive with the wards, but going against the Drow Ranger lineup and such, I guess they're going to be a bit more fickle with it, but uh-oh. Yeah. Under a bit of pressure here, Inflame will simply grab up the bounty and back off.
He doesn't need to, because they don't have this. He doesn't need to play like the guerrilla pusher role in all this game. Like, it's not hard for him to be picked off, and the team isn't necessarily going to be taking those kind of fights where he goes over to do that. But instead, like, they do need him as a siege engine later on for the high ground. So for him, like, you know, he doesn't need to do any of that stuff right now. They have the outer towers. They have pretty good tower push already, just based on their hero's abilities.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't more he needs to go do guerrilla tactics. It's just like, hey team, I got wards up. Let's go take a tier 2, or let's go, you know, get on the objective forward here. But here you go. Move in. Yao's hit pretty hard, but he got a good looks down while Ame is able to isolate the Earthshaker and just take Afu out of the game. Now moving in, it's going to be maybe unleashing the Sonic Wave. They've already dropped 3 of LFY, and it looks like the Bristle is going to be next. Cut him off from the front. Monet, though, on the low ground, tries desperately to help out with the gust, but that is all she can do. It is a 4-man drop. They only lose now. A tier 2 is also going to be taken, and LGD may even keep this party moving.
Oh, it was Yao Shaman kind of leading the way there. He just runs in a few heroes, drops the wards, sables one, sables another. It was some big bullshit Shaman play, and he sets up that great team fight for the rest of the LGD squad, who are breaching high ground. Very farm gyrocopter. SMY BKB Master Madness will quickly bring down these buildings.
Not even a blinking Earthshaker at the moment. This is just happening all too fast, it feels, for LFY.
Yeah, hard game to get farm as a Shaker. You're kind of that 4-position player, but at the same time, whenever you've got a Visage on your team, that's a hero that's naturally going to soak up more farm.
Yep.
Even if it's Visage buying the wards, which I believe has been the case from start to finish, Shaker's just not had a lane at point. Ooh, Puck almost cancels it, DP up, but wasted the dream call. It's just really tough for the Shaker to ever go to a lane. There's a hero like Brood in the game, you go to a lane, you just get solo killed. Same for an Orchid Quap. So, no easy way for Apple to get up to that point.
Slow, starving game it could turn into here for LGD. They do have the benefit of being able to swing over for a Roshan, claiming that extra life in about a minute and a half. Jack, do you anticipate LFY have any reason to give it another go as far as smoking and trying to get that Roshan on their side, or is that just not even going to seem like a feasible action at this point?
I think they definitely have to contest it. I think if they give up this Roshan, geez, it becomes a kind of a push go for LGD. So they definitely have to contest that.
It's going to be very tough. Yeah. Triple BKBs on LGD. It's going to make it all down to the physical damage at that point.
That's you, Drow. Good luck.
Yeah, Drow, you've been in the jungle, you know, for most of the game. Time to.
What do you got to show? Okay, Hurricane Pike. That's cool. All right. It is something, but that's one little thing, and I don't know. You got like 8 big things here happening on LGD. It would feel like
it's going to be really rough for this Drow. This Blink Quap, a Brood who can just fly at you through webs. Gyro's going to run you down with his movement speed, and the BKBs means you can't even like gust them away. So. Tricky times for LFY's Monet. It looks like LGD do want to go for this last outer tower, perhaps setting themselves up to take a Roche fairly soon.
Yeah, just LFY also scrapping for the bits of farm that are out there while they can still hold on to this time. They have one more outer tower to work with. No defensive move yet.
Familiar is very good at clearing these Serpent Wards, being able to just right-click them down, but at the same time they can also punish fair.
A little bit of a trade there. Okay, that's the Puck coming in. Move, silence, but BKB's going to get popped. Now he runs down and below while 11's looking to run into the base, hustling right to Monet. Turning around now, it's going to be a shackle lockdown onto Super. He gets locked in his spot. The Magnetize is going to be unleashed, but look at this LFY fighting on forward right here after they get the takedown of the Earth Spirit. They're thinking about swinging. And LGD Panic is kind of splitting apart right now. Yao is going to be caught between 3, tries to turn around and blast off Boop, but will not be given. And maybe a company just hightail it out of there.
Kind of overforced it. They know they had this triple BKB advantage, but they didn't really connect with their any. I mean, they don't have a clear initiative as part of it. Like the Earth Spirit with the Blink, he can Blink Ultra Smash, that's their best bet as far as starting a fight goes, but they don't have a good way to guarantee kills when they pop their BKB. Brood, BKBs, runs at Drow, and Drow just Hurricane Pikes away, so Brood wasted kind of her entire BKB. I didn't really see where the Quap went, but most of these BKBs just were used to prevent them dying, but they weren't able to secure any kills.
That might have just turned into a great move overall by Inflam to just throw himself into the middle of all of them, jumps back, and the team just kind of backs off for a bit while the BKBs were all popped. But here now, a smoke move going back on the offensive is LFY. As they rotate through the jungle, there is a little spider nearby. He does hold a gem.
I love his cute little neon green spiderlings.
This is the one rare immortal I finally received, and it was a Brood mode one. I didn't receive any rare or very rare on any other battle pass before, but finally I get one, and it's Brood mode. Congratulations. Do you want it, Jack?
Yeah, like as you mentioned just now, Bounce, like even with the BKBs up, they don't really have a heck of a lot of catching, so it's not like they can really pursue them down with the BKBs, and then LFY just waits for it to go down. And so LGD are looking to end the game here. It's less about that and kind of patiently sieging the tower using the BKBs once LFY have committed to a fight. That means Cedar Shakers in once the Drow perhaps as well, instead of just trying to chase at them. So that's something that they could handle, I think, a little bit better at this point. The last fight was disastrous.
A little greedy there. 11 wanted to get that sentry down, but
he's the gem, right? He just lost it. But yeah, he fed his gem. Oh, that's DDC's gem.
Afu's got it.
Okay, so he passed the gem to...
No, that's DDC's gem.
Huh, what happened? Brood had a gem earlier. Maybe he took DDC's gem and was carrying it around and returned it entirely.
Oh, look at this. Above. Buyback going to be forced out now, as it looks like Yao gets quickly picked. LFY just straight up leave, or didn't even have the option. It's Ame rolling in from behind, and so it's going to be maybe call down Sonic Wave, but the shrine has been tagged. Earthshaker can't quite hold on. Maybe he's looking to chase out DDC, but this fight is totally split apart because Ame and 11 are running on forward. Ame's going to get taken apart, but Monet now is getting bit apart from the spider. And he's going to be dropped. Turning around now, looking to get a hold of Inflame, but Super is there, and the quills begin to stack. 11 is gooed up and can't seem to get away, so it looks like he'll be brought down with just one more quill pop. One more after that. This will be the end of it here. LGD couldn't quite clean their plate on this fight.
Buyback from the Brood. They are not really executing in terms of some individual plays. Their team fights as well, like the Brood getting picked there, losing the gem, I'm pretty sure, and then the ensuing fight just not going great either. Their ability to get value out of these BKBs is really being limited by LFY. Just good 4-star plays, the Drow Ranger having that, the Shaker just being able to kind of disjoint the fight using some effective fissures, familiar stun.
Oh, they still want to contest this. They still have Yao's wards. They make a hard push in on maybe.
They buy some more time. Brood will not be back anytime soon, but at least Gyro will be respawning.
I don't think they can do this Roche that fast. They need Drow there now. Where is her Drow? She is now teleporting to the shrine nearby, but she needs to get there.
Looks like LGD may just be giving it up then, not heading it over in that direction at all.
Nami's here. Wants to clear the lane. But yeah, the rest of them are still waiting behind, so they need to make a decision. Clear this and get over, or just roll out and farm. Alright, LFY. Where do we stand now, boys? This game was all favoring LGD through the laning phase. It was super grim for LFY, but now, executing in these fights, they get this Roche.
Yep.
Do we dare say this game is even?
Closer, I think it's still LGD favorite. Their late game is still very, like, Gyro, Quap, Brood. You look at some of the ability to scale late game with, like, level 25 Quap, with that magic lifesteal. So it's going to have Shivers, probably get a Mjolnir next. Brood with his talents, Gyrocopter is just insanely farmed. I imagine they'll eventually get a Silver Edge somewhere. It looks like Gyrocopter has it queued up. Once they have that Silver Edge, this Bristol gets a whole lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, maybe had it queued up before, but now that responsibility goes over to Gyro. And this is kind of the warning. Like, if you look at Brood's itemization, item progression with back, like, he hasn't really added much. The Solar Crest at this point, so not scary of a presence, can kind of hold the Drow in place and bot things down, but once the BKB goes down, he's not difficult to kill. And,
oh, mid lane. Yeah, they might have gotten an opportunity to open up on Ame. They actually force out the BKB, trying to dance around without snapping the coil, but Monet moves on in. At that moment, 11 wanted to start getting the bite onto the Drow, and it looks like they're going to be able to bail out their Gyro friend.
That buyback sent back a lot in terms of his farm. He was kind of up there, even on farm with most of the Radiant cores. He buys back, loses like 1.3k gold, time spent farming. He also just dies multiple times, so Brood is suddenly not looking all too scared. If this Brood had this Diffusal to try and help not get kited as badly and was starting to work on like a Butterfly or a Basher, I think you'd be looking at LGD's late game as being a lot scarier, but this Brood right now is kind of limited in her damage output because of the lack of items and farm.
And I assume, forgive my ignorance, she can't just do Brood split push kind of a thing, right? Is that option not available to her? Is there just too many risks out there from LFY's side?
It's kind of past the point. I think you're you're kind of right there. There's a lot of risk. A Shaker can kind of almost solo kill you. One Blink Echo Slam, goodbye. And it's very easy to set up to defend. All you have to do is have a Shaker. Like 4 heroes can be showing on the map. Shaker just goes back. Blink Echo, as you Blink Echo, a hero TPs in, finishes off the kill. So it's just not really feasible. BKB doesn't protect you because the Echo is instant. The risk is there, and also even if you're not dying, you're unlikely to ever actually damage the high ground. By the time you reach the enemy high ground, they're going to defend the lane. Puck, Bristle, whoever, there's plenty of AoE spam to push out the lanes.
11 dancing on through. Got to be a little bit careful there. Avoids the trouble of LFY, who are trying to frantically maintain some control on their side of the map. And as they roll themselves down through this mid lane, they still have an Aegis to work with, so they're thinking that they can kind of get to some tier 2 action right now. In this mid lane, it looks like.
Dire's middle tower is
Let's see if
under
it's going to be in
attack.
LGD's best interest to defend it. It looks like they've already smoked up. They've cleared the perimeter for it. And if they sweep in from behind, they could catch some support stragglers here. It looks like a good job. A move-in call down. Quickly, Monet forces out the other direction, and they pursue her. She tries to turn around with the gust, but they are able to get a hold of her and quickly take her out. Now as they move in through the middle, it's going to be super eating. A full rocket barrage from Ame, and they'll be waiting for the second round. DDC tries to make it out far up north, but he is going to get caught out from one end. But look at this super. He's going to be able to get the rundown of Yao, getting just 1 kill for LFY. But this was a beautiful setup from LGD, coming in from behind and just ambushing him there. And they're not done yet. They're still pursuing onto super. They slow him down with the poison. There's the grip, the slow. They hit him with the Orchid. Pops the blade mail. God, this pig is so freaking fat! They hit him with a sonic wave and he'll finally get dropped.
Apu even dies trying to bail his buddy out there, and it's only Bristle with a buyback at this point. To the high ground, go LGD.
Can they do anything about it right here? Super's already trying to get in there and stacks up some quills. A tier 3 is going to be dropped, and they're going to just keep moving forward. It looks like this is going to be a set of racks for LGD.
Actually, they play safe. They get this kill, oh boy.
Yes, they do. That is a buyback death on the Bristleback. A BB for the BB.
Great smoke, catching him from behind, jumping the key targets that are squishier. They ignore the Bristle, who has Aegis. They go in the Drow with the Brood. They go in the Puck with the lockdown from the Shaman and the Earth Spirit. Puck goes down without getting too many spells off or dishing out much damage. Drow goes down with the cheese easily to the Brood. And any time where this Drow gets gone on by the Brood and doesn't have Force Stuff up, she's just dead in seconds.
Yeah, just a beautiful smoke wrap around there as LGD were just able to anticipate that LFY were going to be trying to do something with the back end of that Aegis, and mid lane was going to be their best option. But now it's the other direction. LGD now heading up to the top lane. Yao's going to be committing in with the wards. They're looking to go for their second set and possibly even go for the finish here in game number 1 of this best of 5 grand final. It's going to be Bristleback still out for 30 seconds. And let's do or die for LFY.
They need to find a way to go in on this one, even without the Bristle. Vegas is effectively GG.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Tier 3 will be fine, it looks like, for them. They actually really going to play this one safe.
Back to some shrines, it looks like. They're going to have a silver edge soon on. It's back to the clop. They just keep bouncing back and forth. They can't decide, make up their mind who's going to build it. But seems they have come to this.
Yeah, nice fight for them. Kind of, once again, playing to their strengths there, and maybe one of the first few times we've seen in recent fights where LGD knows the kind of engagement they have to take. They need to either find LFY in a kind of committed position or kind of lure them into a committed position, and then with their BKBs, just basically mow them down with a ton of AoE, but not the most durable cores. They can't get kited with their BKBs up. So, again, you need to know what you need to do there, and then making a fight that is very fairly ultimately.
They're going to have a AC on 11's Brood now. Life just gets more and more difficult for LFY. It's a 20k gold lead off of that team fight. The Rax is going down, the Bristle dieback. Gold plenty for every LGD core, and even the supports starting to look at some of those luxury items. So next fight gets even more difficult. potentially you'll see that around the Roshan pit unless LGD decide they can't go for that high ground without the Aegis, which in reality is a very possible feat for them.
Here's LFY creeping their way through the mid lane, but so is LGD with some new toys now picked up. They're obviously going to be feeling pretty confident about taking it to any team fight. The amount of money you just get as an influx from taking down 2 sets of racks, nearly 3, and some shrine action is quite ridiculous. And now over on the high ground side, Monet, gotta be careful here. Afu will dish out the fissure to keep LGD at bay a bit. But this is going to be a fight potentially happening outside the base. There's his flame, getting the silence up on the Ame. He's going to pop the BKB, and he's just running at Monet here, trying to get anything they can from him. On the other side, Ward's going to be committed here, and they'll be able to get the finish onto Afu. So that's no dunk for 40 seconds.
Bristol speak fairly careful against the Silver Edge now. Don't go as gung-ho as he'd perhaps like to in these fights.
Here comes the cross-country run down south here from LGD, looking to go for the Megas. Win 11. Whoa, right to the high ground. Turns around for the BKB and looks to just run down the little lady. A shrine will be tagged. She gets some help with the Force Staff, but he just latches right onto her and continues to bite her all the way back into her base. But she is going to be able to make it back. But those shackles connect. The game is over. And this one belongs to LGD. Pretty much since the draft, they really take it home.
It was more difficult. My impression is that they heavily outdrafted them. They kind of won the lanes that perhaps last pick, but I don't think you need to save your mid for last if there's a clear mid that's going to pull your draft together in such a way. Definitely really does.
And LGD Forever Young say we won't hesitate too long on our mid either. We'll just grab up the Queen of Pain to be able to take on that Death Prophet in the laning phase.
It's decent. You always want burst damage against
10
Death Prophet,
seconds remaining.
which is something Quap at least does provide, but
5 seconds
still
remaining.
So you can't always guarantee a chrono lockdown on a Quap. She can blink out unless this Void happens to own a blink himself and can get the instant chrono off, but Tusk offers a nice little 4 position who can roam around, make setups, and has some good defensive capabilities for the Death Prophet to keep her alive even longer, let's say.
ooh la la.
But Elder Titan now comes out, suddenly, out of the great blue yonder.
This they play this hero both on Afu and on Inflame as the offlaner, and we've seen him go toe to toe. Kind of like a surprisingly strong offlane, the way he plays it with like treads and kind of can really trade hits and obviously like run the spirit through, and then you can really trade and go toe to toe with whoever else is off there in the safe lane. So interesting selection from them, and also gives them some counter initiation as well. So.
It's going to make this Death Prophet a lot squishier, just through the natural order. Take away some of that armor and magic resistance.
Dire team
I
back.
think LFY's last year has to be some high burst damage, or at least damage output coming from their carry role, coming from Monet's hero.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are we super confident with LFY's like initiation and how to start a fight? Like, if the Elder Titan is going to be the offlane, is
5
Spirit
seconds
Stomp
remaining.
good enough? Or a flying in Night Stalker or anything like that?
It's not amazing,
Reserve time.
for sure. They're likely going to at least have vision, because LGD is a team that's going to be like 5-manning down a lane with Exorcism, so they'll know how and where to engage. It's not like they're having to, the second they glimpse a hero, they're going to get like a small glimpse of a hero and have to like have a blink stun from like a Sand King right away. It's like, okay, here's the Death Prophet in plain sight. Can we actually kill her is more the question than can we initiate in some ways. And that's where I think the damage output is something they're going to desperately need. They could get an initiate out of the character, like the Sven is always something that comes to mind a bit, that packs a punch and can also have some initiation potential.
Yeah, I like this Sven a lot. He offers that quick hit burst onto a Death Prophet, and he even gives the armor to himself and the team to be able to help shrug off the Death Prophet and her ulti a bit more.
It's either a Sven or they kind of forgo that kind of initiation altogether, and it's like a raid boss type of pusher, and then you kind of sit the Oracle behind that and have the counter initiations. They do ban that, so.
Clanks? I don't know.
See a lot of Monet
I wonder if they go
slack.
like a Medusa or something. I don't know if that'd be in.
Medusa. Cold Feet like owns
10
Medusa.
seconds.
Medusa versus lineup looks up. Okay, there's interesting little pick. More the this is the LFY, you know, the bulk pick. They needed a hero that's going to be like the more 5-man oriented hero. It's not a slow-moving hero by any means, but it's something that is going to kind of really pull their draft together. And Lycan with Night Stalker becomes that much more powerful because of the constant nighttime with the Howl bonus.
Yeah, very evil Halloween theme we got going on for LFY. Queen of Pain, Lycan, and Night Stalker here.
Yeah,
But,
natural
Reserve
synergy,
time.
and then
yeah.
there you go. Like instead of something that maybe initiates its own, it's just like a very strong frontliner. I've gone with.
Nice thing.
Yeah.
Nice thing for LGD is
10
they
seconds
saved their
remaining.
last pick for their carry role / offlane, because this Void is flexible. You can carry, you can off
5 seconds
lane.
remaining.
It meant they can now respond to this pick before deciding what to get. They're going to go with the Enigma. Put the Void in the carry lane, get an Enigma who can deny a lot of Monet's farm. And how are you canceling this
Yeah.
black hole?
Oh,
boy.
when he gets a BKB, or like even not even, you know, it's like he's gonna be so hard to stop.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the thing with like an Earth Splitter is it's not instant. You see him, he black holes and you want to throw an Earth Splitter, well, you got to wait 2 seconds or something before you even cancel that black hole. So it's not really an effective way to deal with a black hole. This is definitely a good Enigma game, and the team fight, Chronosphere Exorcism black hole for LGD is very potent. The Ice Blast too, they are somewhat ulti dependent is perhaps the concern there, but
It's like so many big ultis though. It's like maybe you'll always have one to use.
There you
you
go.
know?
Yeah.
But you could see a situation where there isn't that much wave clear, and it becomes a very
5
difficult task to
seconds
fight
remaining.
into the Death Prophet as she's taking objectives. So
Is this looking again like a possible game where LGD just have put together a pretty strong draft. It doesn't feel as significantly strong as Game 1, but that Enigma can also kind of be a wrench in the cogs yet again if he does swell up to be a big problem and they have no way to deal with it. Same as what we were saying about the Brood.
I think I like the LGD draft again this game. I feel like the Lycan, there's a lot of disruption for him, like in the form of the Tusk, whether it's the Snowball, whether it's the Walrus Punch. Obviously, a lot of ways to disrupt him. And the damage in very like those draft here.
They do have dependence. They have some great controls where having a Snowball with a Death Prophet can guarantee some save. If she gets gone and trying to be bursted, but she gets some Spirit Siphons out, you then Snowball. It's kind of like an effectively Yule Scepter in a way where you're magic immune, you're still healing, and then you kind of come out and you get like a second win. So it's very tricky to do with this hero.
And there's the Hoppy coming out from Flame, a reference to their sponsor. In fact, the sponsor of all the major Chinese teams, Harbin Beer Company, also known as shortened to Hoppy.
Happy. Let's get tanked.
Which is happy. Let's get happy together.
Let's get happy. Let's get drunk. But please, ride safe.
So they're actually using like English word for it, or is there a Chinese word that also means something?
The Chinese word is the longer is like Harbin Pijo, and it's just shortened to Hoppy.
Yep.
And happy, right? So
Yeah. Okay. So
easy.
nice. Here come LFY, In Flames, tanky frontline, Elder Titan. Not a hero you really want to mess with at level 1 with the Astral Spirit. They may just forgo this rune or try and set Ame in with a Time Warp.
See though, Killing Touch. Do some really deceptive damage going. Okay, there are numbers there. So he jumps right away, claims out. Yao, who could be a bit out of position. Yeah, he gets hit pretty hard. They will score that bounty. 3 bounty runes.
Oh, it's 2 each actually.
2 each.
Top lane. Somehow 11 picked it up. That's not a hero you expect to contest your bounty. You think Enigma, you're thinking, oh, he's going to sit back, hug his tower, deny a creep as early as possible. No, he's going aggressive early on. 11. He's going to have a full-on 1v1 lane. This could be quite alright for him, considering the range creep denies.
He did have that ward up there, so he was able to see that.
Oh, no, he's like, I'm just going to eat your creeps. 33 gold for that one. Thanks.
Yep. Just ran straight at it.
That is going to be an interesting lane to peep in on, that's for sure, because it feels like the Enigma is one of the big trump cards for their team, and kind of getting this kind of lane setup feels all too well. Feels almost too nice to have, so we'll have to see what LFY do about it, or if they've just got something up his sleeve.
He's getting bullied by this 11 Enigma, like the Eidolon harass constantly coming out. He didn't have the poor man's shield level 1 because of the bounty rune being stolen, so he actually took a lot more damage than he was supposed to. Without that stout shield, you get crushed by Eidolons. Only now does he actually have it.
A narrowly escaped getting first blood bottom, so they got the fortunes and not with inflamed punching him. It's very tough for him to show his face in lane with the Night Stalker there as well. This LFY tri-lane is interesting. They kind of do level, so I'm not sure how sustainable this is, but it's a very bullying tri-lane.
Yeah.
If they stay like this, then the Night Stalker is going to have fewer levels when he hits that first night. The Oracle is also not going to have as many spells up, but they can really slow down the Blade's farm here. I don't think there's a heck of a lot that LGD can do about it.
I'm just curious how much of a sacrifice it really is, because like you mentioned, they will be losing out on a lot of those extra levels that these heroes would love to have to bully even better. Afu will be able to snag in for that bounty rune, and they still have the one on their side of the river that they'll probably head up for as well. That means that now Oracle can return to the lane and make it just a 2-person lane to split. That helps out a little bit. But for mid lane, 7 for your Queen of Pain, 9 at the moment for the Death Prophet here. Got a little neck and neck.
Somewhat even matchup, I'd say. Death Prophet with the Spirit Siphon can always be annoying for most mid laners to go head to head with, and maybe perhaps the better mechanical mid player here. Nothing's progressed there, but without support movement, the supports are so tied to this bottom lane that it just feels like this is going to be a true 1v1, which is quite rare these days to see.
I mean, if I see Super take down maybe, and Super's using Quap, like that would be pretty impressive. Bottom lane though, but gets the bump out within the trees, and now the pressure's going to be on the Freya. They both end up swinging a bit. Victoria could end up going down. He eats the Fairy Fighter. He's getting some help, though, as the Purifying Flames doesn't finish him off and will now begin to heal him up. And on the other side, Inflame was able to walk himself out, so no blood will be shed yet.
Okay. Missed the Ice Shards there. It was kind of a wildly placed one somewhat.
Changed it a little bit, right, recently?
It's easier to use, suppose, like to place and get. It's less wild with like where the shards end up with the blocks and stuff.
I actually haven't played him since the change, so I wouldn't know if someone who's used to the more difficult method would suddenly be thrown off and it was a lot easier.
We're seeing a lot more consistency with bottom lane and block with the ice shot. This time it lands and it'll get its first blood.
Yao actually picks that up, and that's got to be concerning for LFY in their aggro lane that was hoping to shut down the Faceless Void. But look at this, an early pre-nighttime, 5 seconds to nighttime kind of a gank coming out from Afu. But the Soul Siphon is there. They need a little bit more damage. They will get it. And now nighttime hits the LAN. Will be a DD Rune waiting there for Afu, and he'll diddly-do his way all the way up and over to a Bounty Rune and possibly into some ganking action.
Yeah, this Enigma could be prone to this gank here. See how this plays out. Enigma is maybe going to walk towards him and scout it out. No, he doesn't.
Back right there for sure.
I think he's fine because again, these two are only level 2 at this point.
He circled it.
The Night Stalker is going to want his level 3. Obviously, the first night they just don't have the firepower for this. And Monet was doing pretty well in the last hits, doing a little bit of back and forth with the 11 Eidolons up there this whole time, trying to chase them down at times to get the last hit.
I've been watching lane quite a bit, just interested to how it go down. It looks like Lycan's been outplaying 11 pretty hard. The Arcane Boots came way later than 11 wanted them. He had to be very conservative with his conversion usage because he didn't get a good time on the Arcane Boots. He couldn't actually spam the conversions, and Lycan was actually, farming most of those Eidolons, having a pretty good time and just kind of outplaying the Enigma with 11 unable to sometimes out-micro him.
Between the Poor Man's Shield and the Feral Impulse for Monet, he's able to have quite a bit of sustain in lane.
Yes.
He doesn't have to worry about taking too much damage from the Eidolons. So he can actually, and then once he gets his boots, he outpaces them, so he can kind of hunt them down a little bit if they try to last hit the lane.
I think that was the big faux pas of 11 is he prioritized harassing too much early on when Lycan's just going to heal it off versus actually securing those last hits and just getting your items up.
Ooh, hard shots onto Inflame as he is the man left alone here in the bottom. We'll be able to walk away from it, but you know, that's the thing is, while it's now established that the best thing going for LFY in the laning phase is going to be Monet in this top lane, the other lanes are suffering a little bit, and the LGD supports are getting some decent farm here too. Seeing 34 and 15 now on our Death Prophet here before the Quap is falling down. Now a tussle over the rune nearby, and they begin to swing it out here. Siphon already onto Afu. He wants to dance. Oh, snowball dodge of the Sonic Wave, but he's in a lot of trouble. He'll be able to burst her down. Afu tries to run out and will be able to step away. Yao trying to swing into action, almost going to lose his life, will end up being dropped, and this just all falls into wonderful place for LFY as they take 3.
Oh, they even got the team shower going too.
Oh, I like that. When you just have a great fight and then you know you have to go back and hit the showers after a job well done, that's the best.
2 great rotations there. First, you saw DDC TPing to the shrine, which was closer to the fight to come and help, and then also the offline rotation coming in from Flame at a crucial time as well to kind of mop up the fight. And this is something that a difference in the offliners. AT can obviously be a little bit more active early on. He can just come in and punch people, use his spirit to contribute, whereas the Enigma for the most part is not going to want to rotate early. He's going to want to get up sideization and those black holes.
Hard move on to Baby in the mid lane. Instead of the Oracle, but look at this time. It's LGD who have reinforcements. They will turn it around and take down Afu. And now jumping in is going to be Super. They needed just a bit more to get out Maybe, but they couldn't do it. He turns around with the Crypt Swarm. Can't quite get Super, and it's going to be Super who now baits in Maybe to get into his death. Fighting in forward now is going to be Inflame. He needs one more punch, and he will get it. On the other side, Yao will also get dropped. It's another wonderful trade for LFY.
Took another team shower. Oh, the other one's on now. Sad times. But Yao just started forward trying to finish off this Oracle. Couldn't quite do it with a disarm coming out. And definitely the fact LFY just willing to commit more numbers on this mid lane, utilize this first nighttime to great effect is really paying off for them. Meanwhile, Enigma's just playing that farming mode. This is kind of what you picked the Enigma for, so you can't really fault 11 for anything he's doing. there was potential for him to TP in at the tier 1 tower and perhaps look to turn it around, but it's also unreliable. TP in, you don't get those kills. You've lost a lot of time where you could be farming. It's not your job to be a tempo control. It is your job as an Enigma to farm up, get your Midas, Blink Dagger, BKB.
Yep.
We talk about some of the details that LGD really has to be careful. First, obviously, is the Inflamed Elder Titan, whose presence has been there for these fights. The other is the first night just ended, so they took those fights during nighttime with Howl up on the Lycan as well, and that just gives them that much more extra move. Obviously, double
Chrono bottom lane, kill on the Apu. Sorry, Jack.
So you really have to be careful because you know that your Enigma is not going to be there. He's not going to rotate to those fights, and then you know that there's a giant Howl bonus coming out as well, so you cannot take those skirmishes with your LGD.
11's in trouble, goes for the TP out, and will be able to make it.
Barely.
Good for him that Fortune's End does not cancel TP. It's just a simple route. Bottom lane, Inflame is in action now, gets the stomp onto Ame, but he's fine by that. So Ame also picks up another kill in this bottom lane, by the way, and just continuing to truck through some good CS. So Faceless Void is coming together well. Enigma is developing forward. So while it's feeling like LFY are getting a lot of these trades by committing a lot more bodies into these fights, the big boy ultis and spells are going to be coming soon for LGD.
Oh yeah. First executions maybe soon as this smoke top will run into DDC or possibly Monet. That's the bigger kill. He does not have ulti.
Neither does DDC to bail him out. Monet just gets slowly sucked up. Fate's Edict actually helps out with the magic a bit, but yeah, they end up spotting out where the Oracle is. They'll roll over and they'll just take them both out of this top lane.
I feel like one of the toughest support traps you fall into. Like your carry gets ganked and he's dead, but you know you're a 5-position support. You're always willing to throw your life away for a support. Like if that's the support getting caught and the carry next to them, they'll always abandon the support that supports you every single time. I feel like 9 times out of 10, that Oracle there is going to try and save the Lycan, even though he should just let him die.
Yeah, because I've seen plenty of plays where that support does manage to hand over their own life for the save of the core, and the core is able to make it away. So you're that 5, that's just part of your job.
He is beyond saving. He's got that 2-minute cooldown on the shapeshift at level 1, so there's no way he's going to have it back after responding kill.
You have to believe, John. Just have to believe.
Oh, Ame, he gets stunned despite the time war.
Yeah, 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so before Chrono was even going to be up if he wanted to have it defensively. Doesn't matter. He just gets assaulted in the bottom lane between the 3.
Really nice kill. They got him just before the time walk came back up, and he almost lives there, but will be a potential tower trade with no LGD heroes positioned at bottom to defend. They're going to take the top tier 1 as a kind of trade for that, although they did not want to see their Void getting picked off there. That does kind of set them back a little bit.
But with them taking down that top tier 1 and now pressuring this tier 2, does open up an easier path for LGD to contest LFY's jungle and thus contest the farm of what Lycan could be up to. Yep. Here is Optimus in the mid lane. Both the supports are trying to get level 6 going, and it looks like they're going to commit it with the Chrono. That Cold Feet will guarantee the double set of lockdown, but False Promise does come in from DDC. Will help bail him out. Can they get enough damage onto him? They guarantee the finish. Sonic Wave from behind! Super gets a beautiful setup, and now the Black Hole. Going to be committed onto the Wolf, and the Wolf just simply runs out of that space. Now a nice stomp setup from Inflame. They're going to run into action now. Ice Blast comes through the team. Hits him where it hurts. The Crypt Swarm flies through them, and they could begin to crumble. Good turnaround play once again from LGD, but everyone badly beaten and bloody.
Ronan barely surviving on that Lycan with the Ice Blast on him. We thinking his lucky stars he didn't take an extra like 10-20 points of damage, he would have shattered.
Like how many heroes ran away from that fight holding their sides? It just felt like 3 heroes on each team just limping away to try to get to the fountain.
Time is money.
It was a great time to get that level 6 on Yao's AA. His ulti could not have come at a better time for LGD. It looked like that fight was about to swing LFY's way. A great counter initiation from Inflame. That stomp first splitter was fantastic.
It did take him a little. It just took him a little bit longer than they probably anticipated to get that nice soccer down. A lot of credit to DDC rotating it, of course, with that False Promise. So at that point, it was a bit of an awkward situation where LGD, it's like, well, we got to make sure we get those few extra shots in so that he definitely dies. But then you're probably putting yourself in an awkward spot, and thus LFY find good opportunities to turn it around. Super coming in from behind with a pretty damn good Sonic Wave, but in both teams' case, they just we're short a little bit in the damage department.
It's a big problem when the Kiryu Chrono doesn't die. Like we kind of saw there, and that really just sets you back as far as the whole fight is concerned.
Simultaneous action possibly. While they make a jump on the bottom lane, they are going to be able to get the grab onto the Tusk as Victoria does fall. Yao is able to make it out, but not so lucky for his fellow support friend.
Interesting here from Monet. After getting the first 2 points in Howl and Feral Impulse, he's opted to put every subsequent point into Wolves. So it looks like he wants that map max Wolves early on. Maybe not much to help with the bar, but just to keep an eye on LGD heroes. That's going to be really important if they can scout out, say, the Void, and especially the Enigma, kind of keep tabs on them and look at their positioning to see if there's an ult coming. So it's an interesting choice there, but at the same time, with the Night Stalker synergy, this is the second Night, of course, with the Howl. He's going to miss out on a little bit of bonus damage.
Oh, just as Monet was trying to shape-shift into action, it's Ame who steps in with a double damage into Chronosphere to be able to take him down. Snowballing on forward, they will be able to get the finish. And now LGD are on the hunt here, looking for Afu, who is just flying his way through the trees. Will suddenly pop out and be able to make it away, but good gank rotation for LGD, and they get the core down.
That's the Chronos you're looking for. Kill the cores. Don't care if it's a solo Chronos, as long as you get a kill every time you use it. LGD find perhaps the biggest kill they could on the map. Also, not just going for the Max Wolves build, Jack, they're going for a Vlad's Necro build. This is not the typical Leica build we've been seeing. It's mostly been like that Master Madness arm with BKB right click build. Mid. He silenced himself.
He's trying to run. But, instant time walk off will avoid the Sonic Wave finish.
No black hole just yet, 5 seconds. So.
Yeah, Levin was stepping up, just getting ready to slam his chest, but it shortened the cooldown and almost dies. Jump there from Super. Elfboy backs off and nobody goes down in this mid lane trade.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice there from Monet, and it kind of hints at what they expect if this game goes a little bit longer, mid to late game. Again, they don't really get to start fights. So they're going to want to take the early Roshan. They want to be able to get this kind of push timing going where the early ult's impact is minimized a little bit because there's a little bit less timing on it, you get a little bit less damage done, the cooldowns are a bit longer. So maybe they think, hey, if we can survive these in between the cooldowns of these big ults, we can really take some objectives to try to win the game that way, instead of making these go long and
Their lineup actually falls off horribly in the late game, I feel. They have nothing to match it. Like, LGD late game, you've got Chronosphere and Black Hole. It's not even looking at like the carries and who's dealing out more damage, just how do you actually team fight into BKB Black Hole late game? Enigma's going to get to that point. He's got tons of farm, he's got minus going. Void's going to have the Chronosphere. Their dire side, they just don't have the big ultis to match that late game of LGD, so definitely kind of agree they need to have this strong early game.
Baby's out in front now with the Exorcism. They're looking to take a tier 1. Behind is Afu. Maybe could creep in with a behind the back silence to cancel a hole or something. Seems ambitious, but he's there as an option. But this is a slow takedown. Yeah, the daytime rolls out. The tier 1 goes down. Lift. Why are they going to be committing in for a defense? Just creeping in, but he has no Sonic Wave on this one, and that's when Ame makes the move. Gets nice chrono, follow up Ice Blast, Soul Siphon, and they guarantee the finish of the Oracle, so he can't even bail out anyone else. He'll also pick up Inflame, and LGD take this party right down mid lane.
Great position from Ame to find a time walk into Chronosphere, and then I think on the other side, LFY Oracle core positioning.
Oh, they're going to get Super also. They set it up with a Yules, and then they have a Black Hole waiting for them.
And the beauty of this is that there's no real pressure on LGD. Like, it's one of those situations where they can kind of just take one core kill at a time with a big ult. They can just totally back off and farm if they need to keep the waves pushed, not lose too many towers. They've only dropped 1 tower so far, so there's no real like pressure on them either. It's not like they have to get huge plays with these ults, or they have to get. It's a little bit like the Magnus situation where it's like you don't want Magnus to be in this position where he has to hit a 4-man RP for them to win a fight, but you can put him in a position where it's like, hey, I RP to core, core's dead, we can just back off, reset. Next time it comes up, we'll kill another core. They can do that. They just totally have options with this strat.
Well, we've seen, like, yeah, the Chrono solo kill in Lycan. We've now seen a Black Hole for a solo kill in Queen of Pain. This most recent Chrono did catch 2 and was for a team fight plus a tower, but I think the general philosophy for LGD will be, as you say, just single hero ultis. That's fine, because you have the late game, because you can play at a slower pace. You don't have to take a ton of objectives and win the game early. You can you're freed up to be a lot less greedy with your ultimate usage. And for LFY, the pressure's really on. Like the Black Hole was used, Exorcism used recently. It really feels like, yeah, they got to go and make something happen. Radiant Scan spots them at the Roshan pit. Ice Blast, we'll see no one in there though.
Haste.
And now they know Ice Blast is on cooldown. May give them a bit of motivation to push further forward. But the problem is the scan still scattered them, so the LGD still kind of know what's going on.
LFY don't stop the chase though. They call out the darkness, and they'll take the time to go ahead and stop the ward. And look at that, they also ping out 11. They think about making it go onto it, but only if he was to continue walking that way. But again, 11 just helps turn back that way.
They'll lose a tier 1 tower. I think this is fine for LGD. You give up. Oh, okay, this is less fine.
Yeah, they found Victoria, and he will go down. Nice little pick there.
Taking towers at nighttime when ultis are down. That is the name of the game for LFY. But most ultis starting to come back up. Just the Black Hole is missing for LGD.
I think also in the book also wants to piggyback off of that Howl synergy with the Night Stalker, and they want to be able to form this like pushing force where if they do manage to win a fight or dodge some ults, they can just take down an entire lane very quickly.
He's been caught in the car now.
Yep. Right by the pit. Chrono Ice Blast. False promise, but
actually
he gets a lot of shots.
Oh, we can't.
No, definitely not now. There goes. He's getting off the screen. Oh, a time lock's there. 11's trying to casually right-click him down, but Super just continues to walk and makes it to the shrine, and he's going to be good.
The Ice Blast wore off as the false promise, like right before the false promise proc. So he still got the false promise heal, it looked like slightly. I don't know how this AA plus Oracle interactions is a weird one. I'm not totally sure how that works. In theory, if you're meant to heal, it just means you'll just stay on a flat HP if you have Ice Blast on.
Yeah. If he was AT to the Queen of Pain in that case, it would be no healing but no damage either. Yeah. Oh, LGD. Moves inside the pit with the Exorcism to try to finish off the roast, but that is when LFY run inside. Sonic Wave to blast the front door. Mame's going to be able to get the finish and claim up the Aegis here. Afu looking to run in, going for the finish. Onto 11, is able to get it. And it's like a little cost him his life. He gets hit with a cold feet, and he's frozen solid here. Exorcism is still out though, putting in some work. Good trap with the Shard. And Inflame just charges through the Valley of Shadow of Death. Down into the trade. 1 for 2 trade. The Roshan Aegis belong to LGD.
We keep taking these fights just needing one ultimate. That one's an Exorcism. The fight before is just a Chrono. Next fight they'll solve a Black Hole. It never really feels like LGD is required to use all 3 big ults to secure themselves a team fight. And that's while it was nighttime too. These fights are at least meant to go a little bit better for LFY, but the farm on some of their heroes just not there. Monet with just treads Vlads is not all that scary as a Lycan. The Queen of Pain has the Veil, which is definitely kind of an okay point for her to be at, but as a whole this team is still just not really feeling all that scary.
It's almost a bad sign for LFY if LGD does use more than one ult. It means that you've been clumped together and they just pile on top of you. It's almost like, you know, that's the only situation in which they have to commit that much at the same time. So LFY, I was wondering where I'd seen this lineup before, because at the summit, I think the first game that VGJ played, they had a kind of similar lineup to this. It was a Lycan as well with FY and the Night Stalker. He had a very successful early game. I think they had a quad mid as well, and they were picking up a bunch of kills, but then they kind of really just ran out of gas, and that kind of feels like what might happen with LFY also this game. It's certainly been steadily in that direction the last few minutes.
We're about to reach a point where this silence may not be as big of a deal. Even the Rod of Atos on Elder Titan can be countered. The Void is going to have a Manta style shortly. The Enigma going for a Greaves. They are recognizing that silence could be kind of pesky. Bottom lane, they get the Atos onto Super into a silence, but purged off by the Fortune's End.
And
the strike
heals. Yes, it will. TP's going to be canceled. An Ice Blast. Fly in and find connection, so even if he blinks away, he slowly tickles down. It's about to conclude. They need a little bit more. He blinks down, and he is fine. He doesn't have a TP, though.
The Midnight Pulse chopped every tree except the tree that was hiding him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was really the matter of one tree saved him twice over there, because Victoria was one tree away from giving him the fatal walrus punch to the face as well.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Ultimately, even though they don't get the kill, they didn't commit any ultimates. It's actually, well, they commit the Ice Blast, none of the big 3 ultimates, and they're still in a position to push forward at bottom lane. Likely we'll see 2 towers dropping here. Cop's gonna like show us up, be like, hey, by the way, guys, here I was.
That's the wave, maybe.
Yeah, that's like the best thing to do after you get like a juke like that is just like walk out by a creep wave before you TP. Just be like, here I am, guys, I juked you.
She has to get back though because she doesn't have a TP and she can't go to the shop to buy one.
Oh, she's been spotted. And
Ice Blast.
Who's laughing now? Snowball in, trapped with the shards. She actually gets hit from that Ice Blast. Still only level 1 though. She's just going to walk herself all the way back and out. But look at Afu crossing paths with Ame. Hits him up with the silence, but does not want to follow up with anything else. But Ame does. Runs on in and catches the Night Stalker trying to fly over those trees. DDC walks forward and then changes his mind.
And they're saving there. And that's a cry for a Night Stalker, but again, these kind of one-hero ultimates don't really bother LGD. Any kind of numbers advantage, they can still push, they can still fight. At no point do you want to fight into Exorcism, so as long as you've got that ultimate, LFY will be scared about engaging into LGD. They don't really have enough burst damage, it still feels, to pick this Death Prophet, despite it being the 3rd pick and LFY having 3 picks to respond to it. It feels like they got the Queen of Pain, the ET's like not bad, but the Lycan pick really struggles against this Death Prophet, even more so because of this Atos.
Rod, Ice Blast, Soul Siphon in flame. Sucked alive, the Fate's Edict will help him out though. LGD back off a bit, returning towards the pressure on the tier 2. LFY letting a bit of full defense here.
No Exorcism yet. Interesting that maybe he's holding it, not looking to just push with it.
This is Greaves, Black Hole, up and ready, Exorcism waiting. Surely LGD have a much stronger team fight here, plus they don't even have the Lycan. The Lycan's currently pushing mid lane. Imagine this. Would be a lot easier if they had Ame with a chrono good to go. The initiation is just a little awkward at the moment.
Relying more on this Atos perhaps.
Yeah. And there's that Atos grab. Can they silence and lock down super enough? No, he's going to be able to blink the other side, but look at Ame. He is just taking the Oracle out of this fight if possible. Afu shows himself within the trees nearby, but he continues to chase down DDC, actually forces out the false promise, so now that's going to be taken off the table. DDC will back off at this moment and finish off that tier 2. Afu will have to TP back indoors where it's safe. While that happens, you know, Lycan gets that tier 1 and gets the tier 2 in the mid lane.
Overall, a success for LFY.
Oh, but as LFY down the lane, they turn around with a rod and a black hole to get the finish onto Super. Well, Ame again zones out DDC from helping anyone out. So they get 2, and they get a 2-man chrono as a follow-up. Here comes an Ice Blast. Will find connection onto the Night Stalker as they finish off the flame, or will they? Oh, nice void. Stops him in his place. Now it's going to be in flame trying to help out his buddy, but he gets caught with the Yules. And now maybe he's like, just take care of my boss, no problem.
Like a tier 3, which is a pretty big achievement for him, but the losses kind of hard to justify for LFY. They're still in a position where next team fight they could lose a Rax. The split push worked this time, but it's just not going to be a long-term road to success for them. It worked because LGD were like, well, we still got a tier 2, then a tier 3. Let's just take this fight. We know we're going to win it. And next time they're going to be like, well, we got to stop the split push because we haven't got a tier 3 anymore. So I do imagine LGD are going to be more prepared for the split push next time, although it was at least a decent move from Monet, considering his ability to team fight is kind of non-existent right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the most he could have gotten out of it. He's probably telling his teammates, guys, just, you know, keep them busy, just hold them off for a little bit, don't die, and I'll see what I can do here. I don't expect that to really work out to it, but then, yeah, once again, like, in terms of team fight, there's so many ways to disrupt or cancel the shapeshift. He's not going to get BKB until his next item, which is probably not going to come until about 30 minutes or so. And even then, with like the chronosphere and the black hole, they absolutely need to hold him in place. They can't. And Walrus Punch as well, all going through BKB.
Did you see his pickup from it flame? He's got Rod, he's going straight up Refresher next.
Rod of Atos, well, he went phase this game, but Rod of Atos Treads is a pretty frequent build for him on the off lane.
I haven't seen this Refresher
Refresher?
Jack?
Yeah, not Refresher. Not Refresher.
That's what I'm saying,
that's
though.
the big question.
He's just like, okay, we're just going to 0 to 60 here.
I mean, playing around the ultimate, he wants to have. He's kind of responsible for canceling anything with Black Hole, and I think they also realize, crap, these guys are coming at us, pushing the high ground soon. We are in trouble. He's going big, going for the the big power late game play.
I like it. Shows cojones. I want to see double Earth Splitter in one fight.
The Spirit is still
You can't get double Spirit, can you? No, because you have to pull it back first, right? Yeah, you can't get double Spirits, right?
Yeah, but Spirit's more frequently there. More frequently Spirit.
Yeah, his Spirit just came back to him and it was 1 second away from being back up, guys. So I'm gonna
Okay.
We're gonna shut this one down before we get carried away, Jack.
I tried to help you, Jack. I'm sorry. I tried.
Alright, we'll stick together from here on out. We are a team. Precious Spirit, I love it.
Double Earth Splitter, though, that's the thing that we're in this for. Double rod, double whatever else he wants to go
double
for.
Soul Ring, man.
Double Soul Ring. My goodness, of course. Here's LGD, though, actually looking to tickle their way into LFY's neighborhood. Who is, get the hell off my lawn. Horses are backing across the river. Here. Just an E-ward for now.
Eyes on Roche as the BKB, the first comes up for Enigma. Void's not far behind. That is worrisome now. Hey, the Earth Splitter is the Earth Splitter is the solution for these, I guess.
Yeah, that is going to be the best thing they could ask for, but like you were talking about in the draft, it's just, you gotta wait that little bit of time before it actually happens. There's a whole process to the Earth Splitter. So there could be a decent amount of time for 11 to be able to get in a good black hole and a setup before the stun is even there. Or is it instant? Am I wrong there too?
With
Earth Splitter?
it's not instant, no.
Yeah,
no.
that's what I figured.
Yeah, the Earth Splitter's at the end.
Like some Chain Frost Lich thing where it's just an instant stun before the projectile even gets there. I wasn't sure.
Oh, it's 3.14 seconds of explode delay.
God.
So yeah, I was thinking it was like 2 seconds. It's even more than that. So
it's like 4 seconds of still black hole because he has to even react to it first. So I mean, it's fine, but that is very low on the totem pole of options.
Yeah. And black hole, well, it lasts 4 seconds. So you've got to preemptively, you've got to guess where he's going to black hole and preemptively Earth Splitter. And then if you guess wrong, you preemptively use your second one.
Maybe he's just like, everyone fight in the Earth Splitter, and I'll lay down 2 of them. It'll be a long enough fight. We'll have 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely a window where you can fight around. I mean, that's kind of the plan, is like fight around that Earth Splitter area.
Oh, they don't need to see it. They're happy to get the Chrome for it. Not even just a BM Ice Blast will also be there. No, I'm just kidding. To the high ground as they will try to shred through the tier 3 with this Exorcism. Lots of mini swoop ghosts here are taking it on down, and there's going to be the buyback.
Oh, nice time dilation. Gets the Echo Stomp.
Step back, and look at this, super creepy from behind. Gets some good work onto Victoria, but he is able to get the snowball off. Puts the chase onto Apu, who is trying to tickle them from behind. Well, now they make a jump on for Maybe, but Maybe is just standing. He's strong, sucking away their life. They will finish off 1 Rax here. Still can't even get the takedown to Victoria. Finally, they will grab it. Super will be there to clean it up. Apu still. Look at this, being a nuisance.
The Rax,
creeping his way through the tree.
He's running
mid.
mid.
Around him.
Oh, we got the creep wave in top and then went for the backdoor mid on the melee barracks.
Look at
Just got
this.
it.
They're getting a hold of Maybe, possibly. You see Yules to lock him in his place, even if it's going to cast on himself, but then he casts his own Yules. And now they're jumping from Ame, and the snowball. There goes the Earth Splitter, but then the follow-up black hole is going to be there, and it catches onto 4. DDC can only do so much to try to bail his team out with that one. Maybe still holding on strong. The false promise is there, but it's not going to be good enough. They take out 4. Woo, holding on to the ultis for that one.
Actually, all things considered, I think LFY played that defense as well as possible. Once you lose that Oracle on your high ground, they can't defend their racks. They delay the push while Lycan almost backdoors the racks. He got down to like 300 HP. If it wasn't for the buyback from Tusk, he may have actually taken the melee racks there. LGD do end up winning with a fantastic 11 black hole though, and LFY's chase does get slightly punished.
It became a really technical situation just now, right? Because like you have like the split pusher, and it's like he's saying like don't fight them, delay them, and then once they peel off from their own push mid to go back and deal with the split push, then he tells the team to go in basically and try to stop them. So it almost worked out for LFY because they got the great Earth Splitter. They actually were paying like after killing Victoria, kind of slowing down the rest of the retreat.
Afu as well, like both Super and Afu were just there in the trees, just working at them. And like you said, they were peeling away from the push. They were just making it so incredibly difficult, making that space for the Lycan. But ultimately, all came together for one sweet hole.
Yeah, I really like the Afu's play, especially that fight. He just chipped away at the Tusk over and over again. Tusk eventually realizes, crap, his next time he comes in, he's going to kill me. Goes for a TP, but then pop there, finishes them off. Night Stalker's still in a position to cancel an AA TP or a Death Prophet TP back. He was just being incredibly pesky on the backlines. But ultimately, it is still LFY at such a disadvantage in terms of team fight and just lineup composition that they're unable to take a Rax while defending.
The difference there is the second
Are they going to chrono for this? Yes, they will. Ice Blast will also be there. See you later, Monet. Out for 50, no. Ay, 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 ay. I think they're feeling pretty good about this game.
That's when they're feeling like, oh yeah, this game's in the bag. And they know at no point have LFY been able to team fight them. The only threat has been the split push, and while you take out the major split pusher, Quap is going to go for the melee Rax, but it's close. It's almost fully healed back up, so this is going to be a slow push. He's actually going to go for the range Rax, realizing, yeah, he's unable to really get this one.
Forces back the single.
They TP the hero that doesn't have his ultimate. I kind of like that, although Void is also the majority of maybe the damage outside of Exorcism on the tower, so it could prevent the push from actually happening.
He's the Aegis carrier as well.
Yeah. They're not going to go high ground with Exorcism without him, which is fair enough. So LGD, not in a rush, you know. They've got 3 minutes on Aegis, they've got plenty of items to farm. They're really in the driver's seat here. The only thing that they can kind of lose to is going to be mistakes that they kind of are forced out from LFY, or that split push, as we've seen.
Yeah, overcommit themselves into a crazy push where they're either distracted or left banded without any sort of way to TP back home. They could get caught from behind, but LGD are going to keep this one composed a bit. They take down the easy money in the shrine. More still up there, but looks like they're not going to wait for that one. They're just going to come in from the south. Popping out the Exorcism, now applying the pressure onto LFY before they can even make it across the map. Tier 3 is not set for this world. Now the Raxes are exposed. Chrono is about to be up, and you know that black hole is also going to be waiting on those back lines. And look who's coming in from behind, and they'll find where that black hole is. 11 is just tired of that pesky Afu and Super on the back and just deals with them.
Like it's going for the back door, but I don't see this working too well.
Two buybacks are going to be there as they make their jump onto DDC. They will be able to finish him off, and like you talked about, Tier 2 down onto the top lane. He makes a move in for the Rax. But still, casualties falling. But look at this. Earth Splitter down the middle onto 11. Ame turning around looking to go for the chrono, but does he have the damage to do anything with this? He doesn't. He just gets stomped up and his first life gets taken away. While they did manage to TP back to their base, they will be able to get the grab onto Monet and take him out.
They're going to be chased for quite a while with the BKB. May be fine here. You can always juke with a time walk now. Melee Rax taken by the Lycan, as well as another T3 tower. Not a bad plan for his efforts. Unfortunately, he didn't have his ultimate. He actually used it when it was still a level 2 ulti, so it had a very long cooldown. But does get some damage done. But you're still down 4 racks. Or, you know, just down 3 racks. You haven't got the range mid, but next push from LGD will probably secure Mega Creep, so you don't really want to be going up against those. LFY still have plenty of work cut out for them.
Well, they had to expend some buybacks, but at this point, you're still only down 1 full lane, which is pretty similar to the position that they were in before. And there you saw like the double Earth Splitter just doing work there. So basically just shredded LGD along that fight. So they got traded that for Aegis. They do have a bit of a window in which LGD's ults are not up. Also, like old 11 bought back as well. So, and then with the Ame BKB charge being used, and Chrono down for a little bit, if we can find a window to take a fight here before these ults come back up, then this does become a bit more interesting game.
Problem is these lanes are all pushing out, so LGD may actually be able to go for that push with lanes pushed out fairly soon. Looks like Void's going to be able to get there. He's back at base picking up some fresh items. AC to deal with the Elder Titan minus armor.
Got it.
Yeah, and there will not be a fight here before the ults finally come back up for LGD.
2-2 just going to go down to the creep wave, and for LFY, They need to recognize again when that push is coming, get the split push going. Perhaps Roshan will be more what LGD.FY offers. They could just slow down the pace in this game. It still feels like at no point are LFY going to be able to team fight them. So if you just sit back, defend your lanes, you're still in a pretty sweet position.
Wait, gonna go for the Yules. Woohoo! That bat can move fast.
Maybe he was going for an ATOS, but just didn't get vision. Gets one of the two off. And Void at mid has a chrono. He's calling for an Ice Blast, I imagine.
Gets it. Oracle's nearby. Okay. How many shots? How much damage? Can he hit a shrine? Double the heal from that shrine. And he does the Yules. That's going to be all good there. DDC will pay the price for it, though. Super will move on, though, as we talked. And the rest of LGD are going to make the move up to the top lane. Now moving in is going to be Monet. Comes in 11 a bit. 11 moves down the hole. It's nothing. Zones out the creeps, though. But now the move has been made, and Tommy wrecking things here.
Maybe.
Maybe is going to get blasted while they lose Monet, but rushing in is going to dominate Omni, though. With the stomp, 1 more second on refresher. Does it here? Let's get back a cooldown right away. Ice Blast, though, flies down the mid lane.
I think he feels like they're defended now. They're not going to need to defend top lane with the death prophet dead.
I used it. Okay. They got the Rod onto 11. They're looking to go for the stomp. They're looking to go for the finish, but they've already made the jump onto Super. They hit him with the Walrus Punch, and they will be able to get 11 down. Yao also going to get dropped. They will be able to get the finish onto Super, and Ame says, I want to keep swinging here, but he gets blasted down.
He had plus 425 there from the spirits.
Crazy.
Plus 50 attack speed to go with it.
Boom! Punch him one more time. Nah, it's going to be DZ getting with the Purifying Flames. Holy moly. Everyone gets dropped from LGD. LFY scrapped together one health.
In Flame, he's the real carry now. Holy cow, that was some insane ET play. He winning that man fight against the Void. I think Void was ready to time walk, but wasn't expecting the Purifying Flames as well as the ET right click to hit as hard as it did. And
yeah, I wasn't expecting to be taking about 600 damage to the face from
big shout out to all the 11's Enigma, you know, whiffs the black hole, but has the grace to stick it out. That's, you know, some Enigmas, they're like, oh, that didn't happen, I'm canceling. No, he stuck it out for at least a good 2 seconds there. Definitely some respect for him.
As long as he already used his Greaves and all his other spells, he's going out like a champion here. Alright, so a reset for LGD. They're going to have to find a new way to try to call themselves inside. Starting with the basics once again, keeping the lanes pushed back forward across the river so the split push options aren't there for LFY. Is LFY going to be that much tougher now in the next defense from what they gained from that fight, or is this just kind of delaying things even further?
They will. I mean, there's still no BKB up on the Lycan, although he's closing in. Obviously, he's got the AC now, and then the Hex was just completely on the fight. So.
This Void has to be very careful about his initiations into Hex. Doesn't have a Linken's, can't BKB or time walk if you get hexed and into some kind of stun or disable.
And Inflame is jacked. So far.
Well, LGD doing their part to make the boss look good, I guess.
But it's LGD who do move inside the Roche Pit, looking to claim that extra life here. Take out the wolf. Send over the decision to scout things out. They see the book moving in, the smoke already there for LFY. As the darkness is called out, LGD decide to back off a bit. See what their best approach to the situation is going to be. They'll wait out the book timing, I'd imagine, a bit. And how are we doing on these big boy cooldowns? It looks like everything is ready to play with. And it is room to pop up. Don't mind if I do. Oh. This is what they call the Mexican standoff sometimes.
Neither team can fully commit to Ame's back in a pit. Radiant Sentry is okay. There we go. The second one comes down now. Afu, daytime hits, no darkness available. This is not good for.
Yeah,
with it being daytime.
It may have already been made. Afu could try cheese antic here.
He's going to walk into a Sentry. zero chance.
Oh, hi there! Yeah, you can't have that.
That's one of those, like, cross your fingers and just pray to the Gaben that there is no sentry. You probably think there's a sub 1% chance of that working, but it's like, why not? Let's go. Aegis and Cheese is a pretty big deal, and felt like if he could somehow get it away from them, he may be able to set his team up to take the win. And he'll be back for the high ground defense. The bigger thing. His death does not hurt his team.
Yeah, no, he's second to the lowest on the net worth, and as you mentioned, has a pretty low death to be available if necessary. While you have your big boy cores here, even Shape's just committed from the bottom lane just to rush through that push as he flash farms his way to that BKB. He needs it, and even with a hard commitment on that, he might be spending his buyback money too. So
with that double damage, he also just took down that tower back.
And that's going to warrant the defense of LGD, obviously. So they'll pull off back towards that mid lane. I don't know if it was mentioned, but what was it that was able to burst down maybe in that previous fight so fast? Was it simply the Lycan face rush?
Quap, mostly it looked like. I think the Scream Sonic Wave did a lot. They just threw everything on it with the Astral Spirit, amping up some of the damage as well. It really looked like, though, the Death Prophet died a lot faster than I expected.
Kill, and as you mentioned, the natural order coming out from Inflame.
She's not the tank. Is Death Prophet only 2,000 HP? Like in terms of she has defensive items, but not much in the way of actual HP. So, with the exception of the Atos, so that might be a factor in how quickly she can potentially be bursted down.
Here comes the LGD party, rotating all the way up and over now. Aegis in hand. They're looking to go swinging here.
Nice Void Illusion Rune able to push out that bottom lane a bit, so they're not worried about the split push should they go for the high ground play. To see how LFY defend. They can't try and initiate on Void because of the Aegis, so we'll see how Inflame looks to get value out of this Scythe of Vice pickup, because the ideal target is that Void. It may now become someone like the Death Prophet instead. Stop the Spirit Scythe from using it.
Lycan shows himself pushing out in this bottom lane as the LGD make their approach. And now is going to be the call of the exorcism. Here comes our Lycan friend. Is there with a chrono. Maybe looking to hold on to it until its second life. He is able to get the time walk off away from the damage. Drops down that chrono. They look to line up the shot. Managed to lock down in two. Monet trying to fight through it here. Gets the false promise early, but a black hole's there waiting for him as they look to tap at the shrine. So they'll move in and try to clean him on out. They're only able to bring down EDC. Monet able to live on, but then pops there at the end from the benefit of that ice blast. So at this point, LGD will pull back and look to go for the racks. Here comes off Foo, but really can't offer any sort of defense. He just gets frozen on up. But on the other side, they will finally be able to bring down Ame in that first life of the Aegis. And they do it again. As he comes back, they have an Earth Splitter waiting for him, but he's got a BKB, and him and Maybe begin to go to work with 11 by side. Forcing them all back indoors, and it looks like that is going to force LGD.FY to throw in the towel. It's going to be a 2-0 start of this grand final going LGD.
Very strong crafting. I really like how they protected themselves from the Death Prophet while then setting up a draft to pick the hero itself. Like that first two AA pick
leadership of the team. I got to give him the credit there. I think they stick to the game plan. No huge mistakes being played there. Yeah, I think that's got to give it to you.
Sounds good to me. All right, and like that, we are suddenly what could be just one game away from closing out MDL, and LGD could be champions. Is that going to be how it works out, or are LFY going to somehow get a win on the line and at least push it to a game number 4? We'll find out soon. That's Gods, that's Jack, Dakota, and we'll be back with more Beyond the Summit English coverage of MDL.
Gue suka banget drum karena walaupun
Qué bien se ve, me trae loco su figura. Ese trajecito corto le queda bien, combinado con su mix y con los cafés. Qué bien se ve, me hipnotiza su cintura. Cuando baila hasta los dioses la quieren ver, que no perderé más.
filming it on an iPhone and editing the entire video on an app called Video Shop.
How will we pull it off?
Find out next. But seriously, click the link in the description below. Download Video Shop. It's a great, easy way to edit videos. And yeah, watch this cover. We hope you enjoy. Peace out.
Before I come back from getting food,
Smith, wait.